Namaste. Here I am again to speak to you about the power of the subconscious mind. What is it all about and how does it differ from the viewpoint of the subject of spiritualism? So, let's see what the mind is all about. The mind is a set of faculties involving the memory, intellect, intelligence, consciousness, etc., within which we have separate sections of the unconscious, conscious and the subconscious mind. Now, what is this conscious? This word consciousness is the opposite of being mechanical. The brain exists. The mind is simply an operating system where neurons move through neural pathways carrying information from its electromagnetic flow via chemical activity occurring in the brain. So how does the mind become conscious? How does the mind become conscious? Like a machine, any machine, say a watch, you wind it, output an electric cell, it comes to life. A car, you switch on the ignition, it moves. One energy, electrical energy, makes the car move, or the petrol energy makes the car move and bring it to life. But this is not the case with the operating system that is the mind. It is conscious. This conscious principle has been segregated into three sections by the Western world: the unconscious, the subconscious, and the conscious. The Eastern world, in the subject of spiritualism, differ a little. They say the subconscious, conscious, and the superconscious. Unconscious becomes a part of the subconscious because it's below the conscious. So there's no need for unconscious. The subconscious mind, as per the neuroscientists of today, claiming that the mind functions over 95% of its capacity and its ability from the subconscious mind, itself tells us that since it's below the conscious level, it functions unconsciously in a subconscious manner, randomly and recklessly, as claimed by the second law of thermodynamics, that energy has a tendency to move in entropy, in disorder, in randomness. So that's what is happening to our thoughts in the subconscious section. It is randomly moving recklessly here and there into this and that for its likes and dislikes in a selfish manner, where it is in lower consciousness, which we refer to it as ego consciousness. only for your me, mine and myself, where you're always trying to prove through your subconscious mind, which thinks and believes on what has been downloaded and programmed since childhood, settled in the memory section, which the subconscious retrieves, and through the intellect level reasons, determines and deciphers. So the subconscious mind, I would say, is mechanical. Since it's below conscious section, it is not of the correct level of consciousness. NESS, the suffix stands for the intensity of the conscious. Like redness stands, the suffix of NESS stands for the intensity of the red color. Similarly, consciousness stands for the intensity, individual intensity within the human mind that we are discussing about. Of course, the plants are also aware and conscious. It can turn towards sunlight. It can take its route towards where the water is. The animals are of a little higher consciousness. They can go towards, walk towards, run towards, say, where the water is. And whereas the human mind can create water even from air or from under the ground, consciously, of course. So the subconscious is what happens. Initially, you are conscious to learn something, discover something, to know something. After that, the subconscious takes over. Like you learn how to walk as a child, and then you don't need to learn again. The subconscious takes over. You learn how to swim consciously, then the subconscious takes over. You are going, say, in a direction in your car from A to destination B. For the first time, you will be consciously driving, irrespective whether your GPRS is guiding you or not. But you will be very conscious because it's the first time. You will be alert of all the turns and the way you're going and the manner you are going. But if you are repeating that A to B section a number of times, then your subconscious takes over. It is on auto mode, on autopilot, where you do not require your true self. Because mind is not that true self. Mind is that thinking self. Body is that physical self. Thinking self is not you. Otherwise, you would not be saying your mind, your thoughts, your hand, your brain, your body. The moment you say your or my or mine, it's yours. It belongs to you. So, the true self is that aware conscious energy. Waves of aware conscious energy. The subject of spiritualism, which is metaphysical, which goes beyond the physical. That is why, since science does not understand, it refers to it as a mystical spirit. Spirit. What is the spirit in the subject of spiritualism, the study of the spirit? Nothing but self-discovery, self-inquiry into the true self, that you are aware conscious energy and not the subconscious mind, which consumes over 95%. So what you are left with, say 3% of the conscious level and 1 to 2% approximately of the superconscious section. So the subconscious mind is phenomenal. It has given everything to us in abundance. Technology, of course. To discover anything new, you are consciously discovering, making, inventing, manufacturing. But when the mass takes over, then it goes on to the subconscious level in auto mode. They are not discovering, they are just utilizing the advancement which the technology has provided consciously by the innovators, scientists, or whatever. So, that is that 3% of the mind, of those who wish to go into the unknown. The subconscious mind restricts itself only to the known. It is mechanical. It does not venture into the unknown. It prefers to remain in its comfort zone without any interference. It does not like if there is any interference. But it requires the conscious mind, which is slow in its thinking as well as in its functioning, because when you are conscious, you are centered, you are focused on what you are doing, and the mind becomes slow. But subconsciously, you are, without listening to your true self, irrespective of that, functioning in a very fast mode, which brings in a lot of material results unconsciously, with desires. It has tremendous emotionalized inputs, full of your feelings and desires and the way it's making the thoughts move subconsciously, without consciously realizing whether it is good for the humanity or not, whether it is good for the planet Earth or not. And it is for that reason that the planet Earth is disintegrating for the first time in our generation. It's disintegrating. It is falling apart ecologically in every other way, deforestation, etc., etc. We are consuming and wasting more than we require through the subconscious mind. Through all the abundance which the phenomenal mind has provided, combined by the conscious and the subconscious. So there's a third section, the superconscious section, which I would like to speak very little about today, because our topic is on the subconscious mind. The superconscious differs from the conscious mind that it is in the silent zone of the brain where the soul resides. There is no thoughts in that area, and it is referred to as the soul. It simply watches and witnesses what your mind is doing. For example, you are doing something which you're not supposed to be doing. There'll be a subtle voice warning you from behind, trying to tell you, don't do it, you're crossing your limit. There are dangers involved in this. There'll be a subtle warning. But if your desire is too strong, it will not listen, which generally happens. So, the superconscious mind is that divine within. The more you listen to it, higher within is your divinity, because it is checking and guiding both your conscious and the subconscious mind. That is the superconscious level. Thou art that. Thou stands for oneness, and that stands for the divine experience which the mind undergoes by the awakening of the soul. The soul requires awakening, but the mind requires action, activity. There's a difference between the two. Difference between the spirit and the mind. The conscious section requires awakening of the soul with the help of the superconscious mind. First, the superconscious needs to be awakened, which makes the mind aware and conscious. And then the thoughts take over, memory takes over, intellect takes over, enters into the known from the past into the future, because the subconscious is connected only to the past, relying on its memory, with nothing new in its comfort zone. And the conscious takes you into the unknown with the help of the superconscious mind, because creativity is a domain of the superconscious. Bingo, I've got it. A scientist says after working for years or months, finally all of a sudden he gets it. The superconscious mind comes to his aid. Intelligence, understanding, again, is of the conscious mind. You see, from the subconscious, you are an imitator of exhausted knowledge of the memory from here and there, downloaded and programmed since childhood. From your parents, teachers and masters and celebrities and whatever the politicians and etc., and the lawmakers, without any free will. You're simply imitating, taking support from what has been told to you, what you believe, either blindly or through reasoning, without doubting. But the conscious mind doubts, and the superconscious mind makes it further doubt. And doubt takes you deeper into the unknown, which the subconscious does not approve of. The subconscious does not approve of. So, the subconscious mind takes you from the known to the unknown. The conscious mind will take you from temporary, impermanent happiness towards equanimity and harmony into peace of mind. That is what the conscious is. From the mechanical, it will take you into the conscious section. From the past and future, from thinking of the past going into the future, bypassing the present. That's what the subconscious mind is all about. The superconscious only knows of spontaneity. Spontaneous, that is what is in the present moment, without any thoughts. By thinking, calculating, analyzing, experimenting, experiencing, inferring, all these things takes time, from the past to the future, bypassing the present. The present is without any thinking, without any experiencing, without anything, spontaneously. It is spontaneous. It comes into your mind spontaneously. That is what is the realm of the superconscious mind, providing you something instantaneously. And that is what intelligence is. You don't have to think in your intelligence, it just comes into you. Understanding is a part of intelligence. 10 people are taught the same subject. Some understand 100%, some don't understand at all. It's depending upon the intelligence. The subconscious simply copy-paste. You read or hear something and you paste that via your mind. That's the subconscious mind. And subconscious mind has unnecessarily been given too much of credit, because the science is totally ignorant about the superconscious section as of today. And recently, meaning since the last 2000 years, science has been operating or functioning or thinking only of the subconscious mind. They were never aware about the consciousness. Gradually now, consciousness is becoming a big subject for science because they have realized that scientists too are conscious. And imagine the consciousness is being taken away today by the politicians and the business magnates, the business empires. They are dictating them, directing them what to do. Subconsciously. They don't want them to be conscious. Because if they are conscious, there will be a pause in the mind which will make them think whether we are doing the right or the wrong thing. But when you are directed for the sake of money, power and fame, for the sake of greed, that's pure subconscious. So be very careful of your subconscious mind. Agreed, it is working 95% of the time because the mind does not have to learn again and again and again of the same thing. The subconscious is as essential or more essential or whatever degree you may give. It is essential. So is the conscious mind and so is the superconscious mind. The superconscious mind is spiritual. The conscious mind is steady, stable, and the subconscious mind is frivolous. Like happiness is frivolous. It's very temporary. It's very short-lived. It has a shadow of sadness behind. A conscious mind will seek for peace, for calmness, for tranquility. So be very careful. Be very open on what you believe. Think before you believe something. Namaste. Thank you very much.